Not 2 turntables, though, you cheap.
And James doesn't know how to use a mouse.
I know.
I'd put
The
the
electronic
cat up. But
one.
hold on. I'll sit down, kitty. So, we just got gifted 3 Christmas presents. What did it say, Chad? From whom?
To the Bonehead, since you're on Santa's naughty list, I got you a little something. Your #1 fan.
Oh. And who is that, Chad?
I didn't know we had a fan.
That's a different joke that he made earlier. That was much nicer.
I assume that the only person that's ever claimed to be a fan of mine was Ghostbusters.
Aw. All right. So thank you, Christy, for our gifts. She must want coal so that we won't freeze.
Oh,
you already opened it?
Well, see, I did the smart thing and opened from the tissue paper at the bottom.
Oh, sure.
That's right.
Sure.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
So it's a surprise figure, so we need to figure out who's got who.
All right.
All
Well, should I open it in the original box?
Well,
of course, he wasn't doing that the whole time before we started, right? Over there.
You'll not know what the surprise is if you don't open it.
Oh, that's true. I have...
Pack. You got a pack.
No, I don't.
No, it's...
I have...
Miosh.
Yeah,
which is funny because...
I've got Peter McNichol.
We
who
talk
won't do our show.
We talk...
Janos.
We talk occasionally on the Twitter sphere.
Yeah,
I've never asked him to...
Cool.
I've never asked him to do our show.
You should ask him.
No, I'd like to keep that friendship.
I would rather you didn't. I'd rather you just went ahead and blew whatever you had and made it happen.
I got Winston.
You got there you go.
Hold on.
I got Slimer.
I got Slimer and a steer. Oh, it's his base.
It's his base.
Oh, well,
that is cool.
That is cool. Well, thank you, Chris.
He's wearing a hat, you see.
I wanted Slimer, but you know, that's fine. Peter
I wanted
McNichol and all.
Slimer too, and I got Winston.
Joe, you actually got the rarest one.
Hey, but you got that Winston from the Maddie Collectors, right?
You cut your head.
I know I did.
You got the
you missed
one
a spot.
You got
the
one
neck,
out of
all the way to the back.
Oh wait, which one? Let's see. There's 1 out of 40 Janos. Which one did Joe get?
He just got the regular one.
Oh. Well, maybe you shouldn't be happy, Joe.
Anyway, what's today's topic,
awesome,
gentlemen? It is.
Thank you, #1 fan. I do love my proton pack.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh, it fell off his handies.
What is our?
Hey, Chad. Where did the Kaiser keep his armies? In his sleeveys.
Oh. I was going to say in his roll.
Hey, this is quick shout out because I think he does occasionally watch us. Let me share with you, Barnaby Pung, friend, shared this on Facebook.
When you said friend, why did you do quotes?
Holy shit! I would fail you if you're in my class. Say one more time. Say one more time. Say one more fucking time.
Now,
you don't speak English, you know?
Now, Admiral.
Hold on. Hey, James, what do you carry when it's raining outside?
Oh, an umbrella?
No. It would have been funny if he said umbrella.
Ella. Anyway, now let me before we get started.
You so hard.
Hey, do you take umbrage with his comments?
Not You're not even insulting correctly.
Anyway, he posted this.
You're tubby and you're going gray.
He posted this joke there on the Facebook, you see, and here's the joke. These 2 cowboys are wandering in the desert, you see, and they're starving. There's no food. They haven't had food. They've been wandering in this desert for over a week, and all of a sudden they see up ahead this tree that's covered in bacon. Like bacon is just draped all over this tree. And the one cowboy, he goes running straight toward it. And you know what happens to him, Chad?
What's that?
All of a sudden he's shot like 30 times. Dead. The other cowboy didn't run because he realized it wasn't a bacon tree. It was a ham bush. It was a ham bush, Chad. The ham
You're
bush.
laughing way too hard at that.
I know, but I can't help it.
Which leads us to today's topic.
What is today's topic?
You know,
we put out
hold
there.
on. My 3-year-old, she's telling me this, or 4-year-old now, she's telling me this great joke. What does a snowman eat for lunch?
What?
A burrito. Continue on topic.
I like ham bush better.
Can you have a ham bush and a burrito?
It has 2 of my favorite things in it.
Dead cowboys?
Well, I was going to say ham and bush, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. Our topic today,
I love that beer.
We went on the Twitters and on the Facebook, and we said...
And 5 of you replied to a completely separate post.
But we did get some topics. So what we're going to do is we challenge people to give us topics to have us rank things or debate things, and so we're going to take about 5 minutes per topic. We'll each say what we think, and then we will have a lively debate. Yeah. And just the example that I gave, we can use just to show you all how it's going to work. Ranking the Bonds.
Okay.
So, ranking the actors who play James Bond, what would your ranking be?
For iconic or actual acting?
I mean, my thing is...
Because there's only one Bond who's iconic, and that's Sean Connery.
Yeah, and so my ranking
is... But for acting?
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
The most underrated? Timothy Dalton.
He was a very 80s Bond, but the
most underrated.
So my actually, you know what? I'm going to actually argue him being the most underrated because I'm going to defend George Lazenby a bit.
I can't randomly. I have yet to see.
George Lazenby played the only Bond that lost, and he did it pretty well.
Yeah, he does. He's the only one, with the death scene.
Daniel Craig lost pretty bad.
Oh, nobody cares about her.
Oh, I love Eva Green. I don't give a damn about the
Vesper Lynd. Yeah, nobody cares about Vesper. But
Eva, right up Joe Lewis's alley.
So my ranking would be, and I love
I'm glad
Bond
you
films.
said alley. And even then, it sounded wrong because it came out of your mouth. Just.
I didn't even say anything bad. She's my type. I can't help it.
Sean Connery would be my number one, obviously. I probably then would go...
And then I'd fuck the shit out of Sean Connery.
In front of Eva Green.
I'm sorry not to be too R-rated on this episode.
Not lovingly. Like a Viking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don Marrero.
Oh, you have more scenes in there, don't rot 12 bullets.
Full-tilt Zardoz.
You take that.
Anyway, I would go...
Good speed. Well, it's kind of sluggish.
Oh, that's wrong.
You check that, Sir Connery.
Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, probably Pierce Brosnan, George Lazenby.
Man,
no, Timothy. No, you're right. Timothy Dalton's a hard one to place.
Here, honestly, Roger Daltrey was not a Bond.
No. Woody Allen was though.
Yeah, Roger. Oh shit!
Moore.
There you go, Roger Moore. I almost said Roger Coltrane. That's not even a person. It's Robbie Coltrane. Well, there could be a guy named Roger.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
He was going to be our biggest fan.
Here's the issue. Roger, John Daltrey,
Roger.
I'm gonna, Joe, I think what you're gonna say is Roger Moore was just in some bad Bond movies. I don't think he was a bad Bond.
Well, he's not. He's my least favorite Bond, but may I say he has passed on. But may I say that man did. Well, I shouldn't knock the other actors, but I do know, as with his activism, probably did more good in the world, specifically for things like UNICEF. He used Bond. He was an ambassador, and he used Bond in a way to save children and help poor children all around the world. I by the way, didn't mean to get off and be serious for a second. He's my least favorite Bond. I enjoy some movies.
Who may be the best? Who may be the best?
He might be the best. But, I don't know the other gentleman. But I do know that he spent...
Roger Moore also, though...
The last part of the third act of his life was helping kids.
And Roger Moore...
And he's in Cannonball Run.
And Roger Moore played up being the goofy Bond later in life. I mean, he's the only part of Spice World that I enjoy.
Hold on. Time out. Why would you watch Spice World?
Yeah, I've never seen this story. I've never told you this story.
His roommate was obsessed with it.
My roommate was obsessed with it. It was once a week.
Because of Ginger Spice?
The only requirements that he had
Which one was that?
as a roommate...
Don't say the ginger.
The redhead.
We didn't have a lot in common. He came from money, and I came from not.
Is that the one that soccer player keeps
No, that's Victoria.
going?
That's Victoria.
Anyway.
That's Posh Spice.
Isn't she the curvy one?
I don't know.
She has boobs.
Okay. She's a female, probably true.
I think. Anyway,
not all of them do.
Anyway, once a week, he watched Spice World. This is true. And if you passed him in the hallway, you'd be that guy's never seen it.
God, that movie's terrible.
He watched it once a week.
Never seen
it. And I haven't
seen all the way through.
What was the Friday Night Wrestling that used to be on USA?
TNA?
No. I mean, it was WWE, but
I wasn't really even making a joke.
No, on Fridays there wasn't.
SmackDown.
Back then, it was not. It was a Monday Night Raw.
Maybe it was Raw.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, that was the
Finish
two
the
things
story.
that
we
he
don't
watched.
care about 50
That being
views.
said, Roger Moore has, because he plays the chief of the secret intelligence, whatever, and he has this entire rant where he goes off about it. When the ferret of injustice runs through the field of inequity, you've got to put your trousers of truth on, whether they're clean or not. And it makes no sense, but it's Roger Moore doing it. So you're like, yeah, that, and the only other thing salvageable about that movie is Meatloaf is in it, and he plays their roadie.
I'll do anything for these
I'll do
girls.
anything for those girls, but I won't do that.
Man.
All right, so who's your favorite Bond?
Okay, so
I agree with James. It's hard. Daniel Craig's the best actor.
see, I like Sean Connery as James Bond, but I honestly, out of all the Thunderball's
If you
probably
say Barry Nelson, I'll punch you in the
Thunderball's probably my favorite Bond movie, but I enjoy the Daniel Craig Bonds more than I do the majority of Sean Connery.
Well, yeah, because you love Bourne.
So
He's
And
born
they're-
again.
They're just.
I
Bourne
have a hard
films.
time ranking. I
That's a good argument. We should do on in a future episode. How Bourne ruined Bond.
yeah.
I didn't ruin, but definitely forced an update.
It
Yeah.
forced a huge update and
So,
a huge influence. Just like Star Wars influenced a lot of what's that Star Trek show you got?
What?
Those
Discovery?
later Star Trek movies.
Oh, the Abrams movies? Yep. Dude, R2-D2 has a cameo in the first Star
Oh,
Trek
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would probably pick Connery by a slight margin over Craig than Craig. And this is where I'm going to get real. I think Moore should be third, then Dalton,
Well,
and then Brosnan. And I can't rank
Brosnan?
Lazenby because I can't. I've never seen it.
I will. What I will
'Cause
say about Moore.
I have not enjoyed one Pierce Brosnan Bond
I
movie.
like Tomorrow Never Dies, but I don't care for Goldeneye either.
Yeah, no, I've never. But there
I like
are
him as Bond. But
there are a couple of Roger Moores that I actually enjoy.
GoldenEye.
What's the one with Halle Berry?
It's got the world's worst theme song.
It's the world's worst theme song, but it's a good
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah, it's crap. Why?
I've always been.
Madonna does the song, and it's awful.
I'm doing the song to get to the name.
I like Brosnan as Bond, but I didn't like any of the movies. I was actually
I
bored.
only like two of
And
them.
Roger Moore's movies, they are not good, but I can actually entertain. They are entertainment.
Hard not to
value
get
for-
entertained by Moonraker.
But they're cheesy entertainment.
Well,
value.
and I was about to say, and that's one thing I do have to give Roger Moore is so much of what people remember of Bond actually does come from the Roger Moore.
Comes from
Roger
Roger Moore
Moore,
for
yeah,
the
I mean,
70s ones, yeah.
Because that's
And
when
Live
the
and Let
villains,
Die is just a B movie masterpiece.
And I will tell you, like I said, if we were to rank Bond villains, the top two would be Daniel Craig Bonds, but then Christopher Walken.
You know my problem with
Would be my
Pierce
favorite.
Brosnan
Yeah.
Bond movies? And
What about Christopher Lee? He had a golden gun. He was a man with a golden gun.
There was no character there at all.
He doesn't have to. He's on Her Majesty. I'm going to actually whoop the shit out of somebody's service. He's the only real badass in those movies.
The other
A pale
thing,
British
though,
man playing a
the
Cuban.
other thing that I will say
Is he
about
Cuban in that?
He's Cuban.
he's Cuban.
I don't remember that
Cuban.
for the life
But and I think that's the one thing that my issue with the Pierce Brosnan films is I do
He's
like
Cuban.
Pierce.
You ever seen Touch of Evil? Charlton Heston's supposed to be a Mexican.
Pierce Brosnan. I think the issue I have with Pierce Brosnan films is I love the old Sean Connery films.
Yes.
I like the Roger Moore villains. I think Roger Moore had the
Yeah.
best villains.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what Pierce Brosnan. What's the one? Because I was like, oh, they finally got a Bond villain again that sounds like he's not super powered, but he's over the top. He can't feel pain.
He's a terrible villain.
And that's what I mean.
I like the movie. Jeffrey Price is a better villain.
He can't
knows.
feel pain. He can't. And then it's like, oh, but his heart hurts all the time, and he's sad. And I'm like, punch him in the throat.
Haven't we done 5 minutes already?
We have. So that's what we're going to be doing.
What's the next one?
Let's move on to the next one. Let me pull it up on my computer.
Just to reiterate,
Me and Joe have no idea what these
I
topics
didn't
are.
bother reading your social science stuff or social media. What's it called? What do the kids have today? Is this TikTok?
Teletype.
Are we on TikTok?
Teletype.
Ready? 5 minutes. It's 9:40. I'll keep a timer on this one. Your favorite conspiracy theory.
In movies?
That's just a favorite conspiracy theory. You can pick a movie if you want to. Mine, I actually gave this some thought. I'll go first to give you all
Yeah,
some
because you got to
think.
give these some thought.
Well,
I'm
in
not
all
a
fairness,
conspiracy theory guy.
my favorite conspiracy theory, I actually thought about this just because it makes him so much more interesting. Ted Cruz's father killing Kennedy and him being the Zodiac Killer. That makes Ted Cruz 20,000 times more interesting.
I can't top that, Chad. You know a lot more about conspiracy theories than I do.
Yeah, but there's so many that my brain's hurting.
What's a good one? Just off the top of your head. Good one. Good one.
Off the top of my head.
Don't wait for the translation.
Oh my God. As soon as he said conspiracy theory, for some reason the only one that pops in my head is Nicolas Cage being a time traveler.
What? That's a thing?
Have you not seen the photos?
Have you not seen the photo?
They went back and they found all these
too
old
busy watching
photos.
TNA. Wrestling.
They went back and found all these old photos. Like there's one of him in the Civil War.
I've seen that with some other folk. They did that with Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, they have an entire website. He's right. It's a conspiracy theory.
It's like they got an entire website built to Benedict Cumberbatch looking like an otter. Have you ever seen
Nicolas Cage, time traveler.
Holy shit, he is a time traveler. Sold!
That's not a
Seriously.
That's not a conspiracy theory.
Time,
that's the gospel truth.
Audience, if you're listening or watching, Google Benedict Cumberbatch looking like an otter. That bastard looks like an otter.
Have you seen that Matt Damon? There's one for Matt Damon looking like a ferret now.
No.
Or something like that. Look it up. It's fine.
All right, really quick, conspiracy theory. The first thing that came to my mind was Kubrick faking the moon landing, and it was the one who did the footage. But I don't believe it.
Well, no, I don't believe Ted Cruz is a Zodiac Killer.
Wait, you don't have to necessarily believe the conspiracy theory. I don't believe Nicolas Cage is a time traveler.
Can I say something really quick?
What?
So you would know much more about conspiracy theories than the other two of us.
Yes.
Just like if I ever have to phone a friend about a president, it'll be you. However, I don't think so. People, specifically when it comes to our government, and I am a fairly liberal guy. I don't believe in horrible government, but I don't think they're competent enough to get away with these things that people talk about. In fact, if you look up the real horrible atrocities like Project Paperclip and all that, all came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, I hope the ends justify the means.
Well,
but
we made it to the moon.
We did make it to the moon. By the way, not to get too historical for you. Why am I looking up the microphone? But Google Project Paperclip.
I use it as an example in my social justice class.
Yeah, if you think that, we're America, blah, 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 blah.
We would never be okay with war crimes.
Nazis and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't put them on the moon, but damn, they put us on the moon.
Yeah. Matter of fact, actually, you can read I'm blanking on the name of the scientist.
Seriously, people Google it.
Him and his brother.
Yeah.
And literally, why they decided to come to America instead of England, his brother did an entire tell-all about.
And if you think also the American government is not, Jesus, look up American Indian, Tuskegee.
Yeah.
Let's go down the list.
We're terrible, terrible people. Chad, we got 30 seconds left. Anything else you got?
No, so the other one...
Those are all factual.
Yes,
again, I would have to see if I knew this one ahead. I could have done my research on
I think it's more fun if we go off
But the other one is Walt Disney's head being frozen.
Oh, that's a good conspiracy.
Oh.
Have you seen the Robot Chicken that makes fun of that?
No, yeah.
Where there's a robot body, they build it for him, and he feeds off Cuban children.
Really quick.
And he goes after Elian Gonzalez. He's convinced he's the ideal Cuban child to eat. Google Robot Chicken.
He would be. Really quick. I listened to Joe...
Dante?
A podcast, the most famous one. MMA. Joe
Rogan.
Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan, but he got into conspiracy theory, and now he talks about how he doesn't do it anymore, and I agree with his reasoning. There ain't nothing but white people out looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
White men.
Yep.
We're done. These guys need to get laid.
All right. Do we have time to do one more before
what
we
time
take a
is
break?
Yeah, we got 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're good. One more. Go.
All right. Your top thought on the Holly Smoot Tariff-Act.
Chad, I don't even know what that is.
What?
See, Chad, that was the 1930 Tariff Act that they thought would bring us out of the Great Depression.
Who the hell told... Who
was that Herbert Hoover?
Was it? I don't know. 1930. Don't you know presidents?
I live in Hoovertown. It sucks.
Well, I mean, Herbert Hoover was the one that brought the great... It was his presidency.
Okay, so yes, it would have been. So... The only thing I know about this...
Hence Hoovertown.
Yeah, that's what I see in Hoovertown.
The only thing I know about this is I remember a little bit from history.
Hoover dam done ruined the country.
My name ain't Hoover, and I don't give a damn.
Oh, can you imagine if we have a Trump dam later?
Oh, God.
Trump dam.
It'll be bigger than the Hoover Dam, just so you can trumpet.
It'll be...
Anyway.
huge.
The only thing I know about the Holly Spoon Tariff Act is I just remember my AP American history professor or teacher in high school saying that was the first of many times Canada would betray us, because Canada responded with their own tariffs against America, and it was they increased tariffs up to 30% on some items, thinking that would force other countries to bring us out of the Great Depression.
Man, I didn't know that.
So
There's a hole in my history. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Yep. So you can look it up, but there you go. But you ask who did this?
Yes, so I can punch him later.
Yeah, who's responsible?
You will not punch him. He's an angel and a saint.
Is it Phil?
Is it your mom?
No, it's Andy.
Punch him.
Andy Johnson?
Oh, fuck Andy Johnson.
No, Andy.
F him in the A. I just saw him Saturday night and he gave me Chinese liquor. I wish I was making any part of that story up. Well, he led me to the Chinese liquor. Technically, there was a guy named Jesse who gave me the name and then said yeah, and it was particularly this Chinese liquor is the number one liquor in the world.
What was his name?
The liquor?
Yeah.
Whenever you can.
That's not an actual Asian name. I think
Whenever she asks.
Was he blonde, Joe? Did he go by the name Hans?
The Asian liquor?
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember the name.
So nobody else has any thoughts on this movie? And literally, that's the only thing I remember about it.
Man, Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson's last name is Dick.
I'm more pissed at him that he out-historied me.
My favorite
He's a smart guy.
Literally, though,
he's a smart guy.
My only thing that I remembered about
You're
it was
never getting your little Britain back.
my AP history professor, because as soon as I read his comment, you should talk about this, I was like, oh, literally, Mr. Walters.
Look at him, fancy as fuck. I got AP.
I mean, I never did anything with it. It's not like I teach his. Oh, crap.
Are you ready? What's the next one?
Serial killers. Serial killers. So this one comes from Miranda. I know it's one that you struggle with.
Or we need an answer.
Let's pause and then come back.
Yeah, we'll come back with serial killers. Come back to us all dead.
So what is it again? Our favorite
serial killers.
Can I do the ones in movies?
You can.
Does it have to be real ones? Because I really don't like grandizing these motherfucking monsters.
Yeah. Well, no, you can do. I mean,
which is funny considering we may be having an upcoming guest, and we were talking about moral issues and how I didn't have a problem with that whatsoever, but this I do.
But no, well, and I'll again,
you know what the deal is? Fucking consent. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't get consent worth shit.
No.
Well, now, in all fairness, maybe he did, and we just don't know.
Well, that's true. Please, they aren't here to tell.
Please, kill me and eat me.
I told him to eat my head. I said, eat me, bitch.
And make sure you don't let me freezer burn. Anyway, I'll start because the one that is an actual one that I do have a fascination with, because to me it's so far along, far in the past it's historical, and I argue it is the there's been others, but Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper.
Well, it's fascinating because it's never been quite figured out.
Well, and
everybody has a theory.
And there's a new book. I was telling Chad this.
Another
there's a new
fucking book about Jack the Ripper.
Well, no, this one I actually want to read because it's called The Five. And it's actually the story of the women that were killed, because this book actually goes back and pulls historical records and seeks to prove that they weren't prostitutes, that they just published that they were prostitutes so respectable women wouldn't be afraid.
Okay.
And so this actually goes back and pulls their birth records, and one of them was allegedly on their way to a convent, and all, so...
Oh, get ye to a nunnery!
So,
you pregnant whore.
What this argues is that the police didn't want to panic, so how are you going to stop a panic among respectable society? Well, they were just whores.
Yeah.
They were prostitutes. So, don't worry, they're not going to come after you if you're respectable. He only kills prostitutes. Whereas it probably, this book argues, it was crimes of opportunity. Now, were some of them perhaps disreputable women? Perhaps. But, I'm sorry, I was trying to give you time.
Disreputable kind.
No, so with
I like my women a little bit on the trashy side.
I heard that about you.
I'm with Joe. I don't really like giving these people any more time talking about them, because the fact that we have a culture where they're celebrated is even more disturbing.
I'm probably more pissed that those podcasts do better than ours. Yeah, but no, seriously, it's one of the things that James and James, you a little bit, right? This is one of our few moral things that we've.
But I will
We've turned this down several times.
In terms of historical, the two that I'm going to pick real quick are again based on historical facts, just because of the historical nature of their crimes. Carl Panzram and H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes is the one in Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah. The one with the murder house?
The murder house.
Yeah, that would be the one I'd pick too.
Yeah, but
that's the most fascinating one.
Well, no, actually, I think Carl Panzram has H.H. Holmes. Carl Panzram was a serial killer in the late 1800s, mostly early, the first 30 years of the 1900s. He probably killed upwards of 500 people. It's undetermined because the man literally traveled the world killing.
The world, not the United States.
The world, because he and
I can't get money to go to conference.
I thought he was going to say college.
He rode the rails. He was
eating beans and killing Millie. I don't know who Millie is.
He was constantly in and out of prison, being tortured, and in between that time, he was murdering and stealing yachts, literally stealing yachts and selling them. And then on top of that, he would join naval fleet, not naval fleets, but like the merchant marines, and travel around the world in Africa and all over the place. And it's undetermined how many people he actually killed.
How'd they find him?
He got busted. He got busted for other things, like for stealing the yachts.
Well, how did they figure out he was a murderer?
He stole. One of the cooler aspects of his reign in crime is that how William Taft, the president after Theodore Roosevelt, who was a judge prior to becoming vice president, so he actually
Taft.
He put him in jail. He put Panzram in jail. And it was one of the Panzram's worst times in jail, where he was actually tortured constantly.
Not as much as those people he killed, but still.
Yeah. After he got out of prison, he then broke into Taft's house in New York, stole his favorite pistol, and the next time he was arrested, that pistol was found in Panzram's possession. So that's one of the cooler aspects of Panzram. That's why.
But how did they find out about the murders?
After he was caught, he tried to break out of prison. When he tried to break out of prison, he fell like 3 or 4 stories and crippled himself. He was in such a terrible state in prison that when he broke both his legs, they just threw him in solitary and let his legs untreated. Ooh. So they mended out and he became crippled. And while he was in jail, he just confessed to all of his crimes.
By the way, I just want to...
How do they know it was true?
They don't, but they were able to fact check some of his locations and were able to tell us that some of them were actually, he was probably telling the truth.
Well, my entire thing about that is, and this sounds terrible, but do you honestly think that he was sitting there going, gee, how can I get back at Taft? I'm going to lie about killing all these people. That'll show Taft.
I have the only other one, the fascinating one is the one in Russia who got away with it for so long.
Yeah, the guy who murdered children.
They got away with it, and a lot of it was because of the communist regime.
Yeah.
You know, because there wouldn't be something horrible in the perfect society.
I know who you're talking about. I'm blanking on his name because
it's pretty low. There's not much lower.
Yeah, and
who is the family?
And he got away with it for a long time.
Yeah,
and Jeremy Miracle will kill me for not remembering. But do you know the family in New Orleans that had the house that they killed slaves, and then when they finally found, they did medical experiments on them and fused them
I know who you're talking about.
Horrible,
it's the American Horror Stories based off Kathy Bates' character. I know who you're talking about, and I'm blanking on the name too.
There's an episode of Lore, which is a podcast that also is better
much more popular than ours.
Where they talk about that, and the young lady that was
Andre Chikatilo.
Which, by the way, sounds.
There's been a couple of movies about him.
And by the way, there was a movie with Carl Panzram starring James Woods.
I was saying, if you said James Earl Jones, they would have get top for that.
But anyway, no. So go ahead. I know the family you're talking about, and they just disappeared, if I'm not mistaken, or were they?
They some of them did because they were high society, and they just moved on basically. Effectively, they went back to, I think they were French. They were in New Orleans, but I think they were the family was French, so I think some of them went back to France.
All right, next one.
Real quick, now there's one serial killer. Let's go ahead and lose some views. There's one serial killer we've got to bring up that puts all these others to shame.
Oh,
Christopher Columbus. Count it.
That's true.
Okay, this one a little bit of a different tone. I think you all will do better for this one. What's your favorite bread?
For sandwiches, a nice potato bread, but I never buy it because I'm always trying to watch the carbs.
Yeah, no, I like potato bread, but I never buy it. Yeah,
never buy it. I love a really good homemade sourdough.
Oh yeah.
With some butter. That's good stuff.
I would pick sourdough as well.
Yeah.
Sourdough?
Yeah.
I like a good pumpernickel. Hell, I like bread, man.
I like
Have you
bread
never made a carb, I'd turn it down, buddy.
The only thing I hate, honestly, French baguettes.
Really?
I don't like 'em.
You've never had them prepared correctly. Have you ever had a French baguette turned into French toast?
No.
It's not bad. I'm not a huge French toast fan, but it's not bad.
What do you
But
think?
I tell you, if you pour syrup, sugar, and white powdered sugar all over something, I'll eat shit. That's just some shit, but that syrup's good. Syrup.
What about
No, he's literally eating syrup. It's not alcohol.
what about oh shoot,
What's yours?
I actually wanted to be sarcastic here and say sometime between when Mike Botts became the drummer and when Larry Knechtel was the pianist. That was when Brett. That was when Brett.
Obscure.
That was when Brett was.
Nobody's gonna get that joke.
And, I was saying about.
I wouldn't have got it if I hadn't got the reference.
By the way, are you talking about Marie Delphine McCarthy?
That may be it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, she's also known as Madame LaRue. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, no. I was saying about this. My mom makes homemade banana bread, which I have a soft spot for.
Yeah.
But you've never had my mother's banana bread.
I haven't, but I've had
your
banana
mother,
bread.
but I've had not.
Well,
What?
if you liked one, the banana bread's better.
One slightly yeastier.
But this probably came up because I was going back and forth to somebody about zucchini bread. Is anybody's favorite
hate
bread
zucchini bread?
I don't
I hated
hate
it as
it.
a kid.
I like
It's
it with
okay.
butter.
It's okay, but you're never like,
Oh, shocker!
please.
Joe likes something with butter.
My grandfather actually used to do that.
You know what?
Sugar.
Fuck. Hashtag me fatty too. We're coming out. We're coming back. Fuck you people. That's our word. Fuck you.
I'm coming out. I want the world to.
No, it is. I'm the same way as you because I was like, I really love potato bread. But if you ask me the last time I bought potato
I
bread,
never buy it because it's
something else. Those everything buns where they have all the seeds and the stuff on. Those are pretty good. Those are good. You ever have them? Those are good.
Streusel, a good streusel.
No, but I think
I like all bread, man. Bread's great.
Croissants, the fluffy ones.
My god, a really good croissant.
Cheddar's croissants, the honey croissants
Yeah,
they do
those are
there.
good.
Those are good. You ever eat that?
But isn't
Take
it
an
just a
American
croissant
of-
with honey on it? It's literally. It's not a.
How about you shake? You can't do that. How about you shut your cake hole, Coco?
So you like honey? You don't like the croissant?
No,
I like both, but only there's a good Richard Jenny joke. I'd take an American and take a beautiful flaky croissant and throw a piece of American shitty cheese on it.
Is a biscuit a bread?
Yeah, it's a baked good. Yeah,
Yeah. What kind of fucking question is that?
I don't know.
So the question is,
Is a
Do you eat
donut
cake,
fine.
Marie
Is a
Antoinette?
donut bread?
Yeah, it's fucking carbs.
Jake,
Mashed potatoes is bread.
quick question.
Yep.
So is money.
Would you,
So
But I
pancakes
try
are
not to
bread
eat
then.
that.
well, so given your choice,
What's the difference between a flapjack, a pancake, and what's the hell do they serve at McDonald's?
I had a friend when I was in elementary, McGriddle.
Hot cakes. What's a hot cake?
I had a friend when I was in elementary school, and his grandmother used to go off on rants about this. I'm not making this up. I was like in third grade, and she made us breakfast one morning, and he said something about, pancakes. She literally, probably in her late 60s at this point, screamed out, "It's only a pancake if it's in a pan. It's only a hot cake if it's still hot." The entire
Is that
time.
the actual reason?
No, the
I
difference
don't
between a
think so.
flapjack, a pancake, or a hot cake, $3.50. Next.
Is he buying a Loch Ness monster?
I don't know.
A Loch Ness, a Loch Neck.
You've been sitting there picking your teeth in front of the microphone for 10 minutes. I will not be criticized.
All right, this one actually was one
I'm
that
not picking my teeth. I'm actually just taking my finger and going like
Well,
this.
it sounds the same.
This was the
to our
last one that
listening
I got. There's one after this, but this is the last one that I got, so I don't have an answer to this one either because I was like, that's a good question. If you got to reboot Star Trek The Next Generation a la J.J. Abrams.
This isn't a
reboot-
ranking question.
No. This is where it becomes a ranking question.
Which we really aren't.
Who would be your top choice to play Wesley Crusher?
I wouldn't have Wesley Crusher.
You can't reboot The Next Generation without Wesley
Why?
Crusher.
He was a pointless character.
Dude, he met the Traveler. Have you met the Traveler?
He will come in one of the previous.
Oh my God. Why has nobody made that crossover yet?
I mean, why would you get someone other than Will Wheaton?
No, but I mean, if you're
rebooting, you're starting from scratch.
I'm with Chad. I don't know that I'd have Wesley Crusher, but it's probably slightly interesting to have a teenager's perspective, I guess.
Well, you have it, and I would argue J.J. Abrams did it because Chekhov's 17.
Yeah,
he's pretty young.
No, McCoy has that line. How old are you? 17, sir. So I mean.
First of all, I would never reboot TNG.
Oh no! But I honestly, because with this question, I actually was stumped and part of the reason I'm stumped.
That's very specific. Who asked that one?
I'll have to look it up.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Who would?
They're all but peons listening to us in the ether.
And there goes our 5 listeners.
Because Wesley Crusher is what, 15, 16 when the show starts? I don't know.
He's pretty young. He may be 14.
Is it too late to cast Corey Haim?
No, we can dig his ass up.
You're awful thin, Wesley. You're awful thin. You're so cold, Wesley. So cold.
That's an inside joke between us about something else.
Anyway.
Necrophilia. But he finally emotes.
14.
And a rat comes out.
14. Sure, it's a drama, but you could throw a pie. Anyway.
There's no words.
There's just no words.
But now my actual thing was, all I could think about was, who do I know that's an actor that's 14, 15? And I was like, I don't know, maybe one of those Stranger Things kids is all I could think of. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't. I'd have to go for an unknown. I wanted a 14-year... Jesus.
No. Thank God.
Well, it's been fun. This is our last episode. We investigated by the FBI.
I wasn't even trying to be funny. I mean, if you were going to do that, I feel like you would have to do an unknown.
Okay, so since we can't answer that question, let's do it another way.
Yes.
Who would you cast as Captain
Once again, I would do an unknown.
You know, I was saying about it, I'd probably go with that Tom Hardy fella. I don't think he did it great the first time, but...
Let's give him a second shot.
I think...
Tom Hardy's a good actor.
He's a good actor. And you've already got him established as being...
No, I don't know. I think I'd have to... Those roles are slightly iconic. I think I would cast myself as number one, who's let himself go. We have the same beard.
Yeah.
I was trying to give them an answer that connected somewhat.
I look like his fatter cousin. And by fatter, I look like his fat cousin. Because that's our word, Chad. Taking it back.
I don't know.
Drop dead thin people. Of course, you guys are going to live.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
I mean, for a while until the diabetes takes us in our slumber. I don't know. I think about that.
That's really tough.
I think about that because I'm and say what you will about J.J. Abrams, and a lot of people have, but I do think, you know, if you would have asked me this question for the original series,
I wouldn't have
12 years ago.
Pine.
And I
think if you see Zachary Quinto, you can figure that out.
Yeah, Zach Quinto is.
But I would not have went for Carl. I would not have known that Carl.
No, Carl
Rove would have done such a good job. I keep saying Carl Rove.
Chris Pine. Yeah, because I mean, at that time, he'd only done Smoking Aces.
He's in a couple other things, I think. But Carl. Why can't I think of Carl's name?
Carl Urban. I did. I wouldn't. He just don't listen to me.
I actually didn't hear. I wouldn't know what. I didn't. Yeah.
Because at the time, you know, I would have thought that Captain Kirk would have been more like a Ryan Reynolds. But
yeah,
man.
It's just, but I mean, that's what I mean. I say what you will about J.J. Abrams' Star Trek films, and I enjoy some of them, and then there's a
the one the cool thing about this is that I like the idea of it, but there's certain ones where we're just sitting here beating ourselves up instead of just actually going off the cuff and giving our first answer.
You know, if Picard, I would go Vigo.
Viggo Mortensen?
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be interesting.
See that? Yeah.
I think
Viggo
that
was
would be
my
the guy.
dream to play the gunslinger, Roland Descain.
Yeah, I can see Viggo doing it.
What about you? Who's your gunslinger one? Is it Viggo?
Oh yeah, Gunslinger was Viggo.
It's always been Viggo in my
Yeah.
head.
But when they were gonna cast what's his name? No Country.
Javier?
Yeah, Javier Bardem.
I thought he could do it.
I
too.
was excited about that, and then that never happened.
I thought James Earl Jones.
What?
I always think James Earl Jones.
Yes. You need somebody to play an undead crypt keeper? James Earl Jones. Get him on that phone.
But no, I would say Picard would be Viggo.
I guess another one, and now I'm actually just saying about this, another one that would be hard for me to cast would be Data. Because I think Brent Spiner somehow captured something there.
That was his role, but at the same time, there's probably... Again, I would have to sit here and think long and
Now,
hard.
if I could travel through time, I'd love to get about a 23-year-old Christopher Walken. You're going to be a robot
Data.
there.
Bill Moseley. Done. I don't know.
What?
I don't know why that came at the top of my head.
What's funny is I was reading his Instagram post about 20 minutes before you guys got here.
Deanna Troy, Elvira.
Yeah, that would
it'd be a different kind of cast.
Vigo going, what did
Do you
I
have
get
any more
myself
of
into?
these?
The last one, and I actually thought this was pretty good. Pick your top 3 non-Star Trek, non-Star Wars alien species.
Oh,
Alien species.
Yeah. Non-Star Trek, non-Star Wars.
does it have to be movies?
No, just aliens. And they did not specify, so any alien species.
God forbid that we talk about Scientology on this show.
No, we're not talking about Xenu.
I'm not going to talk about Xenu, but L. Ron Hubbard wrote the longest science fiction novel of all time. It's called Battlefield Earth. They made a movie basically out of the first 300 pages.
Yeah.
And what are the names of those aliens in it that are played by
John Travolta, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. I don't remember. Those aren't the ones. But if
Oh,
you
thank
get
God.
to the third part of the book, the bankers look like sharks. I mean, I just thought it was funny. I don't know. It's probably in my top 5.
Man.
One. I tell you, I love the Xenomorph.
Okay.
It doesn't get much better than the Xenomorph. I know that's really on the nose, but is there a better alien design between that and Predator? I don't know. Xenomorph's pretty cool, dude. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it'd be my top 3. And I think the reason it's not my top 3 alien is because...
I don't want to meet one.
No. But my reason it's not top 3 is because that film is what that film is, and we've mentioned it before in the show. It's a haunted house movie. To me, the Xenomorph somehow stopped being an alien and is a monster.
It is a beast. Yeah, it's a creature.
And
but it's an alien. It is called Alien. Just pointing that out.
Thanks, Joe.
In the sequel they had several of them, so they just went ahead and called that son of a bitch Aliens, plural. That right there is what you call the English language. Oh, Jimmy Cameron.
So the Xenomorph would be your number 1?
I look around the room just thinking of shit. And because, all right, the creature from the Thing's amazing. I love the monsters and I love the aliens from They Live because they're just here to make a buck.
Yeah.
They're just here to make a buck. And honestly, are they all that bad?
I mean, stable. They give us stability.
There's stability. If you sell out, you make about, as I recall in the movie, you've seen your income go up about 27%. So actually, it's one of the numbers in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all that bad? They're just Republicans. Shit, we're all got some Republicans in our life. Everybody's got a Republican or two. They live.
Okay.
I don't know. They're not that bad. What about you all?
Okay, so number 3 have to be the Killer Clowns.
They are from outer
The
space.
Chiodo brothers are going to say thank you.
By the way, the
They won't
Chiodo
do their
brothers.
show.
Chiodo brothers have a Christmas movie coming out next year. I don't know if you saw their
Is
announcement.
that
on Twitter.
Chiodo? Is it pronounced that way or Kyoto? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
But they have a Christmas movie coming out next year.
Oh, that's cool. I follow them on social science.
Good Lord.
Geography.
Ooh, psychology ain't real.
Number two would be the Mogs.
The fuck is a mom? Oh,
Half
yeah.
man, half dog. They're their own best friend. I can't
That
believe
is a good one.
And then number one.
You're taking the microphone.
I had it and I lost it. The number one alien species. I'm just going to throw it out there because it's an underappreciated movie. No, I don't. Groot. It was either Groot or the Slithers. The Slithers. I have the braces.
Are you sure they're not the first cousin to the Night of the Creeps?
I couldn't remember. Was the Night of the Creeps a space? Did they come crash down or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They escaped from a ship from aliens.
That's right. Okay.
The one little alien stealing them. Yeah.
Wait, taking it all back.
Redo. Remix.
The Crits.
Krites. The Krites.
Yeah. Krites.
Krites are number one. Which are made by... Two of your people made by the Chiodo brothers.
Yep. Also Mick Strawn.
Woohoo! Mick Strawn.
And Andre Ellingson. And half the people we've interviewed.
Except for Mick Garris. Fuck you, Mick.
Well, he ain't doing the show now. He was never going to.
He's never going to do this.
I picked the Critters because of a suck up to Mick Strawn. But no, seriously. Yeah, the Killer Clowns and the Mogs, definitely.
I gotta tell you all a story about
and maybe
Mick.
Pizza
He texted me the other day.
No, number 3 for me.
Yeah.
The Mon Calamari. Because I don't care who you are. If you scream it's a trap, 4 Star Wars fans.
Are they called... Christy was asking me, what are their names again? I was like, I don't know. It's not in the movie.
It's Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
They're named after squid?
Yeah. I knew it was something like that.
Dude, really, did he put that much forth that much
effort?
It's
better than unobtainium.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Why is it called unobtainium?
Wait,
well, it's because it's hard to find. No, it's because nobody knows how to tell James Cameron no.
What aliens are those from? The Mon Calamari.
They're from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not allowed to use Star Wars.
Oh, you're right. I fell into
Is that where you're going with this?
I fell into my own
because I thought it was Star Wars. And by the way,
right.
Did you know Emperor Palpatine, what his original name was supposed to be?
No.
It was a Dashit. Something along that lines. And then they changed it because they thought, calling him shit might be a problem.
You're right. So I can't use Star Wars or Star Trek. So my number one, I've decided already. It's a Centauri from Babylon 5.
Ooh, good.
Because I love the Centauri. They are.
Oh, I never thought you said Centauri, and I'm thinking about the last Starfighter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
By the way, that's Star Trek adjacent.
No, it is not. Say that to
also Lord
say that to John Michael.
John Michael Vincent.
Yeah. Say that to JMB.
You say that to J. Michael Vincent. You dig him up.
Let's see. So that would be. So they're my number one. Number 2.
The shit weasels from Dreamcatcher.
Somebody's got to give them some attention. No, number 2. I'm trying to think. What are the aliens from V?
The visitors? I don't remember their names. Do you? They call them visitors. That's the reason why it's called
Which, by the way, and
the whole reason we have the reptilian conspiracy now is because of V.
Is that true?
No. But it's if you think about it.
I do love those. As a child, my little brain just busted and broke when I saw them. I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, I was watching, not to get off on a tangent, I was watching the 6th episode of Star Wars, Mandalorian. And about halfway through it, when they're on the prison ship and it's all going down and the robot, and I looked at Christy and I, honest to God, if I saw this when I was 7 years old, my mind would have exploded. Yeah. It's just...
It's one of the weaker episodes and it's still amazing.
It's fracking fun. I don't know that it's great, but it's so much fun.
It's fun. That's all.
It is so pleasing.
You know, and
I've watched them almost all twice.
I think my third one would be the aliens from War of the Worlds.
That's a good one.
That's
the Martians.
Yeah, the Martians. Yeah,
that's a good one.
If I was going to pick a Martian, I'd pick the Martians from Space Invaders.
If I was going to pick a Martian, I'd pick my favorite Martian.
Oh, Mars Attacks! God damn it! That should have been my number one.
I'm still having a hard time not having the Xenomorph as my number one.
And that could be your number one.
No. I'm actually trying to replace it in my head, and I keep coming back to that.
I think the reason I like the Centauri is because they're the most human. They're not quite the they live aliens. They're the most, because all they want to do is they're
zoom.
Close.
Just shake
There's
your room.
An entire thing where Londo uses his because they have multiple genitalia, and he stretches one out so he can see so he can hide cards in it, and he's cheating at cards.
I know what number 3 would be, because someone got me my Secret Satan bought me the Arrow Special Edition of Life Force, the director's cut. It makes it a completely different movie now. I haven't watched it.
There's 3 seconds of dialogue.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but they cut out the opening reel for opening 10 minutes.
I thought you were not going to say 10. It came out as something almost completely different.
Tim?
No, because of what Life Force is.
Oh, they cut out the tits? No, they left them in.
Those are right there.
Did I mention Matilda May?
Yes, on many occasions.
That would be one of my favorite aliens ever. She's almost as hot as the Xenomorph.
She's no mom.
I'm amazed he didn't go with, what's that one alien and from that Total Recall?
Sharon Stone? What? Oh, no, he didn't. Michael Ironside. Oh, he's good in that picture.
I know.
I know my favorite ones would be the Highlanders.
Oh, I knew that.
Good from the planet Zeist.
Oh, seriously though, those space vampires, man. Stupid movie. Can't wait to watch it again.
The novel is called Space Vampires.
It's called the Space Vampires. I own it. I couldn't make it through it. It's written by Colin Wilson.
My uncle gave me a first edition. Well, he passed away.
Did you read it?
It is on my shelf, and I keep telling myself I'm going to.
I made it through half of it, and I said, actually, the movie's better. Even though the movie has very little to do with that book.
I want to read Alfred Bester's The Deceivers first, because it's been billed as the heir apparent to...
Oh, I've never read that by Alfred Bester, because I've read the rest of his books, but I've never read
You open it up, it's one page, and then the rest are blank. You were deceived!
By the way, that would actually... I would be like...
What a twist!
I actually just stop. You would hear me actually put the book down. Well played, sir. Well played. Golf clap.
So seriously, anybody got anybody better than Matilda May? Seriously, no.
The Mog.
Then no. I like John Candy.
How about?
He was never in any prepubescent fantasies.
How about? I don't know.
Prepubescent.
Yeah,
and
okay,
beyond.
It'd be a hell of a thing for Buzz Lightyear to yell with.
That is honestly.
And beyond.
Actually, in all fairness,
the episode.
What you don't know is Joe's gonna tonight have a dream where Matilda May, Amog, and him have a party.
Oh,
Matilda May.
Notice how
tail wag, tail wag, tail wag. Stop wagging that tail, Matilda May.
Can they invite what's her face from Feast over? Christina with the dark. I can't think of her name. She was the star of the Feast.
Well, I was saying about speaking of aliens. I mean, if you're going just for
Krista Allen,
Krista Allen.
If you're just going for sexy aliens, a lot of people would say Natasha Henstridge from.
Henstridge, yeah. Well, you know what? That in her defense, I don't think that's a very good movie, and the sequel is just god awful. But
then
she's good in that
movie with Christopher Lambert.
I'm serious. Just take out the nudity. She's good in that. Natasha Henstridge was good.
I mean, for what that movie was, we all know why that movie got good.
Yeah. Beyond that, she's good in that.
Yeah. No, but anyway, so nobody brings up Species much anymore.
I was not a fan of it when it came out.
So it had Sir Ben Kingsley in it.
So
does the Love Guru.
Guru?
You know what?
Yeah, but there's a lot less topless.
I'm going to be honest, though, and people want to crap on the Love Guru.
And the Species has all that great work by the alien. Why can't I think of it?
H.R.
Geiger.
Yeah, the
inventor of the scale.
You mean the counter?
Yeah. Damn it.
I left off. Now, some of you may be upset. I did leave off such questions as your favorite of Joe's chest hairs. I left that one off.
That was what's her face.
No, your least favorite chest hair.
Favorite. Because I obviously...
And I responded, his face.
to my friend out there, she knows who she is. Why are you looking at my chest hair?
I'm up here, honey.
I'm up here. Eyes.
Oh, that's wrong.
You just talk to your boyfriend, and I'll see your mom later. You know who I'm talking to.
What the hell's just happening?
I don't know. We're probably going to have to go to court over this.
No, it's an ongoing joke. Oh, Miss
Where's
Flowers.
it going?
Nowhere. Stephanie's mom won't call me back.
It's like Luciano Pavarotti on a treadmill. Not going nowhere.
She won't call me back.
Slim chance he will.
Is there any other ones other than my chest hair?
No, that's it. There were, I mean, the ones that went to where I was like, I don't even know how we would frame this.
Really quick, we have a few minutes. I do have a question for the two of you. if you could, and forgive me if we've asked this before because this is like episode 112, 113. If you could pick a movie for you all to work on, what would it be? For a movie maybe to remake or reboot or an addition to?
Jesus.
I don't necessarily think either one of you are in a rush to remake anything.
No.
No. But if you could make a movie or work on a franchise. I was going to say,
if I could go back in time, I would work on Roger Rabbit.
Well, no. In the future.
A movie to reboot or relaunch?
Not necessarily, but maybe even to add an addition to a chapter 2. I think that, for example, I loathe the idea of them remaking The Evil Dead, and then I watched it and I realized he didn't really remake The Evil Dead. He added a chapter to that story.
Right.
Yeah. Don't you all agree? Mm-hmm. And it was one of the smartest things he could have done, and it was pitch perfect.
Yeah.
And he did his own tale. He took out the humor.
Yeah.
Man, if you're asking me a franchise that I would like to work on and go and either reboot or add an addition to, hands down it would be one of two. It would either be 3. It would Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters is my number 1.
It would have to be a good one though. Number 2, honestly, I would love to do a Dick Tracy movie.
Yeah.
And then number 3, I had it and I just lost it.
I don't remember that franchise.
Oh man. Oh shit!
It's The Gods Must Be Crazy, right?
No, I don't want to do another about a Coke bottle. Fatty Arbuckle. No.
James?
Oh, there's one that I would like to do, and it was rumored for years they were going to do it, and allegedly there were multiple scripts.
Oh, number 3 is Beetlejuice.
The Rock. I'd like to do a follow-up with The Rock because Stanley Goodspeed at the end has all that data. He's going to become a target.
Uh-huh.
But it wouldn't be Alcatraz, so... Anyway, go ahead.
Dude, listen.
Could actually be on a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe at the end he picks up a rock and beats somebody's head. I don't know, Chip. But a sequel to The Rock, there's so many... There's a potential for stories there. I think, and I wouldn't want to do it because I don't think it can be done, but I almost would like to explore some of the same themes that are in things like The Seventh Seal, some of that stuff. I mean, it's almost like saying you want to do a sequel to Citizen Kane. Why? But at the same time, I think so many people are starting to forget some of those movies, and I get it to a point. Anytime you argue something's a classic, you bring in classism to it. Well, it's a classic to who? It's a classic to... And I understand that, but at the same time, there's certain things. So, that being said, barring that, I don't know why we haven't seen, more movies.
Are you going to answer this question, or are you going to hold on me to death?
I have been. I think you get things like Clue. I think you could look at redoing Clue. I don't know how you could do it better. But those movies are a lot of fun. I mean, I'd love to say I'd want to mess around in Star Trek, but then I'd have to deal with angry nerds like me being mad about it.
Well, I would like to do something with Star Wars, but you and I talked about this, right? Yeah. And what I would have been doing was a Mandalorian. So because you and I said we'd like to do something with Star Wars, but we didn't want to do a damn thing with Skywalker. We wanted to be off in the outer edges of space and do that story in that Star Wars universe. And that's what they're doing with the Mandalorian, and I appreciate that. So I would like to do an episode of that.
I think...
But Ghostbusters would be my number 1.
I think the other thing...
Or maybe something really cool that hasn't been talked about in a long time that just caught my eye, like Quatermass, something British.
That's what I was about to say. I would love to do a Quatermain movie. I love Quatermain as a character, and Quatermass as Quatermain. I mean, I think that's a classic character that, now everybody's like, oh, it's Indiana Jones. Well, before it was Indiana Jones, it was Alan Quatermain.
And I would have honestly liked to have seen worked on Sam Raimi's The Shadow, if that ever got made.
Or you'd like to do your own Shadow.
Oh, I'd love to do a Shadow. Because I think Shadow, you can go so dark with it, or you can make it fun and campy. It's been told both ways. And one of my favorite Shadow storylines is about a psychopath, speaking of serial killers. He's a serial killer, and he's convinced he's going to bring about the blood god, and the first time he sees the Shadow, he's got blood all over his glasses, and he becomes convinced that the Shadow is the blood god. So he starts trying to figure out where the Shadow is going to be to worship him, and the Shadow's trying to find him because he's killing all these people.
All right.
So yeah, that or Alf. Sorry.
Yeah, I love Alf.
By the way,
my kid knows Alf.
Have you seen the meme where it's the lady and the cat and all that stuff? And there's one now that it's Alf sitting there. Where'd the cat go?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much.
Highlander. I'd like to redo Highlander.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Highlander. I
don't have an interest to do it, but I'd like to see a good one. I don't know if they've ever made one.
I think it would have to. But the problem with Highlander is, I think the first one, I think Kurgan is such a great villain. And I think Clancy Brown plays, however you feel about the Highlander series, that first movie, Clancy Brown just nails the Kurgan.
Oh, I would have liked to have done a really good prequel to The Thing. Because that actually would have worked. Because it's set up in The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
What about Nightmare on Elm Street?
No.
I don't know if there's anything. I think the first one still holds up so well.
Yeah, I think that's a pitch perfect horror film that has probably not a great ending, but a pitch perfect horror.
I'd like to do an Indiana Jones. There was a video game made, The Fate of Atlantis, and it was a comic book series too. And I think that was a better storyline than...
There was a sequel to The Thing that's a comic book series. It was written by, I can't think of his name. He wrote, doesn't matter, and it's not bad. It picks up right as it ends with a submarine picking them up.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I think that's... So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'd love to do franchise-wise, but, man, yeah, that's a good question, Joe. I don't know.
All right, well, there we have it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This was our episode about nothing.
If you were a tree, what type of tree would you be?
Leave me alone.
Hopefully not a Dutch elm because of Dutch elm's disease. Look it up. That was actually Katharine Hepburn's answer to that question. Because that's
when was the last time you petted a monkey?
My own or someone else's?
All right. Thank you all so much. Please share us on your social media. Hope you enjoyed this. It's a little...
And remember, in the future, if we ask a question, if you don't respond,
you get a shitty show like this.
We will take whatever the crap you give us and turn it into this noise.
We'll spin it into gold.
Gilded, maybe.
Rumpelstiltskin.
More like rumpled foreskin. What?
Rumpled foreskin.
You can't spin that into gold.
Uh-huh.